All right, in this video, I want to start adding something fun to our game, and I was thinking about power-ups. So by power-ups, my idea is we're going to have some kind of an item that falls down from the top of the screen, and if our ship is able to catch it before it goes off the bottom end of the screen, it'll give the ship some kind of special power. And so in this video, let's just do something simple like restore the ship's shield to back to full strength. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so the first thing we need to do is just load a power up image. So I'm just going to copy one of these lines and change it to power up image. And let's see, grab that file name and paste it in. All right, so the image should load. The next thing I want to do is think about, like, of the existing classes, which of these is most similar to a power-up? And I was thinking the bomb, because the bomb falls down already, right? So it's a sprite that falls down already. So let me just copy and paste bomb. And so I got two bombs, so I'll take the second one, and I'm going to call this a shield power-up. And let's see. Okay, so it has an X and a Y and an image. It's got a speed to fall. I'm just going to change it to 5 just so it's not the same speed, falling the same speed as the bombs, but this is definitely one of those numbers you can just play with. And if we look at the update, let's see. It's going to move down every frame, and if it goes off the bottom edge of the screen, then the power-up will remove itself from the game. So that looks good. Okay, so let's see if we can add some in the game now. So I'm going to go to the start level function, and I'll just start working down here. And I'm going to make my first power up. Wait, actually, before I make it, I've got to decide where to put it. So it needs to have an X, Y, and an X and a Y location. So I'm going to make its X location rand int 0 to the width of the string. Right, so I want it to spawn somewhere, along the edge, along the width of the window that I've made, and then I want my Y location. Right, if you think about it, the Y location, I want it to be above this window here, and all along the top edge of the screen, the Y has along the top edge of the screen, the Y value is 0. And all the Y values above the screen are negative. So what I'm going to do is make a Y value. It's just some large negative number. So I'm going to try, how about negative 3,000 to negative 1,000. So the closest a power-up will spawn is going to be 1,000 pixels above the top edge of the screen, which means we'll have to wait a little bit for it to fall. And then this is even further away. If you wanted your power-ups to take a long time to get there, you can make this an even bigger number, like an even larger negative number. And so now let's make the power-up. And we'll put it in the X and the Y, and we'll give it its image. Okay. So now we can put it in our group. And so I'll make a new group. And let's just put the power-up in it. So now we've got this power-ups group. Let's see. We'll go down here and we'll make them update. And go down here and make them draw. Okay. And I'm going to run this because I've made one mistake, but I want to show it to you before we fix it. And, oops, I made two mistakes. Okay, so the first one is that should have been capitalized. And then the second one, it says power-ups not defined when we try to do the power-ups update function. And so power-ups update, it says it's not defined and everything looks fine here. Well, what's different? And if we go to the start level function, remember any variable created in a function is only visible in the function, and unless you declare it global. So what I'm going to do is add power-ups to the global variables in my start level function. All right. And so now let me, okay, now let me say, now one thing you'll notice, I can't catch it yet, but we did have it fall from the sky, so that's good. And when it touched me, it had no effect either. My shield didn't change any. So now let's think about how we can go about getting the power-up to actually work. So what does a power-up do? Well, a power-up is going to modify an attribute of the ship, probably one of these. So what I'm going to do for our power-up, or first we need to make, I'm going to make our power-up, where did I put it? Here it is. I'm going to give it another function that's the apply function that's going to take, have arguments of itself and the ship that it's going to apply itself to. In this case, what we want to do is we want to take the ship and we want to take its shield and set it equal to some other value. So how about, I think in my code, my ship started out with a shield of 3, so we'll just restore it back to 3. We'll come back and look at this and see if we can do anything a little bit more interesting. All right, so whatever ship gets passed in, this is going to happen to it. All right, now, if we, so if we go in here and we look at our update function, here we are checking for the lasers, or for the bombs. So we really kind of need to just duplicate this code and check for the power-ups instead. But I think if I do that, the update's going to start to get a little bit messy. So I want to do a little bit of rearranging first. And so I'm going to make a function that's def check bombs self. And I'm going to copy all of the bomb checking code in there. And then I can say self.check bombs. And then now if I do def check power-ups, right, then I can just go down here and I can say self.check power-ups, and my update function will just call each of these little helper functions, and it'll be a little easier for me to keep this code from getting mixed up with the power-up code. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I will just copy this code, paste it here. And so this will change, let's say, so here we're checking the power-ups. So we're going to check the power-ups group instead. And the hit, right? This is going to be an individual power-up. Yeah, so this is all the things that we hit, and this is an individual power-up. So the power-ups have an applies function. And the apply function of the power-up is expecting a ship to get passed in. So what I'm going to do in the check power-ups, since we're in the ship class, the ship will pass itself, right? The ship will pass itself to the apply function of the power-up. And this would be a great place. I'm just going to do a print statement here so you can see it happen, but this would be a great thing to replace with some kind of a sound effect if you can find a sound effect that's good for a power-up. All right, and so let's find out if this works. Got to get hit to know if it's going to work, and let's hope I can catch it before I get shot again. And my shield went back up to 3. Right, so looks pretty good. And just while I was coding this, I sort of had another idea. This always restores the shield to 3, and I was thinking, and this is totally optional, you can do this or not. If you like this behavior, then keep it. But if you happen to catch the power up while the shield is already at 3, you don't get any benefit to it. So, what about if we did if ship.shield is equal to 3, we'll do ship.shield plus equals 1, and I'll say else. It'll set it to 3. And what this will do is, if you're already at full power, it actually increases the max shield your ship can have. It'll give you an extra point, or maybe it'll just restore you to 3. So it'll let you go back, it'll let you get even higher than 3, maybe an added bonus. And if you don't like that, then just keep it as ship.shield equals 3. Another thing we could do in the apply function is, if you wanted to, you could make the power-ups worth points. And the player is the one with the score. So, let's say you get 5 points for a power-up. And if you don't want power-ups to be worth points, then just don't do that, right? Yeah, the point is the apply is going to modify some attribute of the ship, and then, this is just the player has points, so we thought we could do that as well. All right, let's test this out, and I think that should be the end of this video if it works. So let me go again. And my shield went to 4. And there should be another power up in this level. Make it hit. And it goes back to 3. So looks like everything is working right as intended. Actually, before I end the video, just one more quick thought, and that is, something to think about is, I have different formations for every level. If you felt like having different amounts of power-ups or different times you'd have to wait for power-ups to show up, on each individual level, this code here could get moved into the into the level, like into the level area instead, and then it would be able to be different per level. But as I have it coded here, every level is going to have the exact same power-up setup. All right, so I'm going to call that the end of the video right now.